Joining us on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is a man who's got his own terrific radio show every single day locally in New York from ESPN. And yes, our friend Michael Kay back here on the program. How you doing, Michael?
I'm great, Rich. How you doing?
I mean, this has got to be like childhood dream stuff, right? Sitting in a booth, calling games, watching George Herman, Babe Ruth get tied by Aaron Judge. This is amazing. What's it like for you?
It is amazing. He's had an amazing season, and just to be just like a little fly on the wall or in a catbird seat, so to speak, it's kind of fun. I didn't think, after they cleaned up the game that we'd see anybody approach this, and not only has he approached it, but he's done it in 7 fewer games than Ruth did it. Now 6 after last night, so he's had a pretty extraordinary year.
Yeah, last night he rips a double on the first pitch he sees. He had another double, and then strikeout, and then a walk where people just don't want to face him. How is he handling all of this? I just see the Maris family. I remember when McGuire was tracking down Roger Maris, that family was being taken all over the country with the commissioner as well. Bud Selig was there. How's Judge taking the spotlight here?
You know what,
Michael?
Rich? It's been amazing. We all have heard the awful stories about Maris that, there was such stress that his hair fell out. And I asked Aaron Boone, in the middle of the season, if he makes a run at this, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be able to handle the stress? And Boone laughed and said, well, he's still got his hair. I don't think that's going to come out. And this is a guy, Rich, who bet on himself, who turned down $213 million. And that didn't affect him. In fact, it spurred him on to have one of the great offensive seasons of all time. We had Buster Olney on the show yesterday, and Buster said, it is really, when you compare it to what's happening in baseball right now, the greatest offensive season that anyone's ever had. Now, I don't know if I'd sign off on that, but it's certainly in the top 10. So that didn't unnerve him. I don't think this will. You would think that when you got, to 57, right? You'd start to feel it, and boom, he hits 2 home runs in the last game in Milwaukee. That made it 59. So, and in the first opportunity he has back at the bat, in the next game, he hit 60. So I don't think it's affecting him at all. He seems pretty chill about the whole thing.
And, just watching him go through it, and he's just murdering the baseball at a time when the Yankees needed to. The team essentially fell apart in August offensively and then physically as well. July wasn't post-All-Star break anything to shake a stick at either. He is most valuable. This is exactly what you need from somebody like him to carry a team and then come through like he has been doing the last few days. I wonder what it's like to watch this in first hand.
It's almost surreal because, to tell you the truth, I even mentioned it in Milwaukee. The last time up, he hit a 2-run double. And I said, this is the only guy on the planet that people are disappointed when he hits doubles. So, you could hear the groans yesterday at Yankee Stadium when he hit 2 doubles. As it's not enough. But, he's also chasing a triple crown. So all the hits he gets continues to pump his average up just a little bit. And it'll be interesting because the top 2 guys in the American League are going to be playing the next 4 games starting tonight, Aaron Judge and Bogart. So, and I agree with you with the valuable thing. And no disrespect meant at all to Ohtani. I know there are a lot of people in Ohtani's camp, and he's had just a wondrous year. He's a unicorn. I don't know if we'll ever see this again. But if the word valuable in MVP actually means anything, Aaron Judge is the only thing that stood between the Yankees having the most historic blown lead of all time of 15.5 games. And, Rich, you watched the games. He did it with no protection in the lineup, which makes me wonder about some managers in baseball. Why'd you even pitch to him? But they did pitch to him, and he just damaged all the time. He carried the team. Otherwise, they would have blown that lead.
And we put together a full-screen graphic for our show yesterday, and the numbers that we're going to pop on the screen are not updated from last night, but he still does lead in every one of these categories, including, as you mentioned, the Triple Crown. And he's only 15 steals behind Cedric Mullins, too. It's insane. He's not like some plodding slugger that can't move around the bases. He's unbelievable, and that is why he is, in fact, most valuable. So this leads me to the final question, I guess, on Judge for the moment. For you, Michael Kay, is the future. He bet on himself, and he has performed in a way that is truly remarkable. The only thing that I can even equate this to in the same remote, I guess, area code, maybe the same church, but definitely the wrong pew, is Joe Flacco. years ago when the Ravens didn't sign him, and Steve Bisciotti said, "You win the Super Bowl, you can come and put the bag on my desk, and I'll give it to you." This is what he's doing. He may not win the World Series, but what he's done is amazing. What is the future there? Are the Yankees going to give him whatever the hell he wants? Because they should, Michael.
That's not how they play, though, which is that's what adds the interesting part to it. Because, you would think that the season that he's had, it kind of backs them into a corner to do whatever, but that's not how Hal and Brian work. They will. They obviously have to raise him from the $30.5 million a year that they offered, which at the time would have made him the second highest position player in baseball behind Mike Trout. But now you could actually look at this guy and say, he's getting $40 million a year. Now, I know the Yankees probably pushed themselves more than they wanted to give him 7 years, because next year he's going to play at an age of 31. And the Yankees are all about analytics, and the thing that frustrates a lot of people in baseball, there are no analytics on how 6'7", 282 guys age. It's just kind of a crapshoot, So there's going to be, again, I'll reference Buster Only of ESPN. He said the Giants are going to make a big run at him. They need that big star, and they need a guy. They're going to sell 99 uniforms and shirts at their ballpark. They don't have that right now, and they had a bad season, and they certainly have a lot of money. And he is from Northern California. So let's say the Giants come in and go, well, we'll give you 10 years, $400 million. I mean, you being a Yankee fan, as long as you have, do you really think the Yankees are going to say, okay, we'll give you $400 million?
Michael,
I'd be stunned.
Michael, $1.2 billion for a piece of AC Milan. Who are we kidding here? And the Yankees probably aren't the number one revenue generator in Hal Steinbrenner's portfolio anymore. I
think they have the money. I don't think they do. Of course they do. The team is probably worth over $7 billion. But they do business in a certain way. Like, this is what this is worth, and this is what that is worth. And they usually, I can't say that it's going to be the case now, they usually don't let emotion come in to their decisions. And this one is going to be emotionally driven.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if there's any metrics either, Michael, to find wherever George M. Steinbrenner III is, in fact, buried, and have a seance to have him come out of his grave and make sure Hal gives him the money. Like, this is a total George M. Steinbrenner III maneuver, Michael.
Well,
let's go.
When the Yankees were in Boston, Rich,
yes,
I was talking to some people involved with the Red Sox, and there's a chance they would make a run at him.
Come on.
And remember, George and Bernie are the only things that kept Bernie from going to Boston. And that George stepped in at the last moment and pretty much almost doubled the last offer that they had just to keep him. I don't know if that's the way they do business anymore. Now, that paid off for them because Bernie was very valuable for that team and played a big role.
Oh, yeah.
What could move the needle? Again, this is just Michael K. guessing.
I got you.
Is if Steve Cohen or John Henry of the Mets and the Red Sox really make a play for him, because I don't know if you could let your guy get away.
You can't. I mean, come on now. I mean, even that, and if I'm Judge, that's why, if I'm not mistaken, Judge kind of played a little coy when he was asked when they were in Boston last, maybe you're, and he's like, yeah, that'll be for the end of the season. And I'm like, way to go, man. That you drive it up. Like, he didn't deny, like, I would never come to Boston. Drive it up. But I would find it very hard to believe that John Henry coughs up the money for Aaron Judge that for whatever reason still they didn't do for Mookie Betts, who is just lighting up this town from which I'm talking to you.
But that might be the reason, Rich, because they're still furious in Boston that they let one of the best baseball players of all time get away. And, they got nothing back in return. I mean, Alex Verdugo's a nice player, but he's not Mookie Betts. So since Boston is still simmering, and the big worry in Boston that you hired Chaim Bloom from the Tampa Bay Rays, are you going to operate like a small market franchise? And this would be the answer, no, we are not. So, but I'm not sure if Chaim Bloom wants to play in that end of the pool either. I mean, that's not the type of GM he is. But the Dodgers are a very analytical team, Rich, and they've taken deep dives. They took a deep dive on Mookie Betts. Sometimes you have to be irrational, and I think it was Andrew Friedman who said it a long time ago. Anybody who's rational about pursuing a player, either a free agent or a trade, will always finish third in getting that player.
Michael K., love it, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, in a couple minutes I have left with you, let's talk a little bit of football. Who's more jacked up calling your radio show every day, Giants or Jets fans right now?
Giant fans. Because the Jets, I mean, that was such an unlikely win. I mean, it probably happens once every 400 years, so you can't say that they played great last week, but we'll see what they do against the Bengals now. But the general perception, though, in New York, Rich, is the Jets have more talent than the Giants. But they're also feeling the Giants might have scored by getting Dable. Dable looks like the real thing. Jet fans are still a little unsure about Robert Saleh, so we shall see. But here's the most ridiculous. I hope you agree with me.
Okay.
I hate to disagree with you.
Yes, sir.
We have people calling in. You got to keep playing Flacco until they lose, even when Zach Wilson's ready. No, you don't.
Stop.
Zach Wilson's the future of the team. Either you find out what he is, or you've got to get another quarterback. It's like I look what the Giants did with Eli and Kurt. Was a Hall of Famer, and they were 5-4 and had a chance to make the playoffs. And you know what? They said it's time for Eli to play. So even if Joe Flacco wins the next 2 games and they're 3-1, when he's ready to go, I'm sorry, you have to turn it over to Zach.
Come on, really? People are somebody from Queens calling up, somebody from my hometown of Staten Island saying got to play Joe Flacco until the wheels come off.
I reckon Staten Island actually does say you keep playing Joe Flacco. Until you know.
But backup quarterbacks are supposed to do what Flacco has done. The 59 throws against the Ravens. That's what that was insane. Right. But it was just still week 1. Flacco should win these games. He's a backup quarterback who's won a Super Bowl, who knows the offense very well, who isn't physically falling apart, who knows these opponents. That's how he made his bones, is against the AFC North, which is the first month of the season for the Jets. And then let's see what Zach can do. 1,000,000%. I totally agree with you, Mike.
Has to be. I
totally agree with you, Michael.
Because by year 3, you have to make a decision on year 5, and you're not going to know anything about him. We even ask these people that call in, Rich, well, with Flacco, how many games do you think they're going to win? Well, in perfect world, 8. Well, you're not making the playoffs anyway, so what did you do with the year?
Before I let you go into your day, Michael K., I will be tuned tonight, and I love every at-bat now. You're like, hey, welcome to Yes. You're resetting. You're welcoming the national television audience.
Rich, you will not be watching me tonight.
What's going on tonight? Where are you?
It's Fox.
Oh, what about Friday?
Apple TV.
Come on now. You're not going to be.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
So you're not even Friday night. You're not gonna be.
If he hits it before Saturday, Yes does not have the call.
Oh man, are you going to the game? Are you going to be there?
I'm going to watch it with my son at home.
You know what, man? I first of all, I love you, right? You know I love everything about you, because
love
that is it's, seriously, and I say this, without any hint of anything but genuine. I love that about you. That's so great, man. And I know it's deep down, it kind of kills you that you're not going to be at the mic potentially for this. But you sitting next to your kid, I'm sitting next to mine. I'm calling him into the living room every single time the guy steps to the plate. This is that type of material for anybody who's grown up. You've been in
the business as long as I have. What do you think I should? Somebody said, Michael, you have to go to the booth tonight with a metal chair and smash it over Adam Lean's head and just take over the call.
Well, there's that as well. That would be aggressive. That would be an aggressive maneuver.
It'd be a big story.
But, they're not going to try and get you in on Friday night even? Apple TV? You can't. What do you think?
Andrew Marchand of the Post, this is unbeknownst to me. I have no idea that they're trying to make a trade of me, David, and Paul to make the call. But if you're Apple TV, are you going to do that? This is what you paid all the money for, a game like this.
I know. I hear you. Yeah, I know that you got your own crew. You can't tell your own crew, hey, we've got one of the most potentially historic moments. You're out. These other folks are in. I totally would get that.
Well, I hope if he hits it the next day or so, I hope Adam Amin has a great call, or Steven Nelson, and I'll be enjoying it just like a fan.
It won't matter anyway, Michael. How about this for a great Yankee fan moment? It won't matter anyway, because you'll be able to call his 70th home run in about 8 days. How does that sound?
You know what? Don't think that's out of the question.
Who's going to take care of the Astros for us? That's that. I'm just going to go straight up to that before I let you go.
I think the Yankees are going to have to take care of the Astros.
You don't think the Guardians might get them? The Jays, right? I don't know. But I guess the last one for you. I'm sorry to keep you too long. How does it work? Does it work where if the 3 versus 6, do they reseed?
No, they do not reseed, which is silly.
Okay, so the NFL reseeds. So it would be the Astros would get the winner of 3 versus
6,
no matter what. no matter what.
It's weird. So they could actually play the better team than the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
So the Yankees, if they win the East, will play the winner of the Central, which would play the lowest wild card.
Okay. And
so,
wow.
The Yankees, I don't think would have any problems with the Guardians, and the 6th seed. Well, that's not going to be easy because the Blue Jays or the Rays or. Well, I think the Yankees could handle the Mariners, but Castillo scares you a little bit.
I know. I wish the Yankees had gotten him instead of Montas. But that's Rich from Staten Island talking, not the Rich Eisen Show from Los Angeles. Thanks for the call, Michael. You're the best. I love listening to you and Cone and and Paul, O'Neill. With all due respect to everyone else, you're a great listen with everyone. Everyone in the booth is a great listen. I'd love listening to the three of you guys. It's great.
Thank you. Please tell your family hello.
Right back at you too, sir. That's Michael K. Everybody, right here on the Rich Eisen Show.